بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Inshallah, we start tonight first with Sahifah, and as you know, we have had a few sessions as introduction, and we said from this session we will go into the actual content of Sahifah. And today I thought we would start with dua number 7, because this is very relevant dua, and actually one of Maraja today advised that it's a good dua that the mu'mineen do it, in this time that there is this worry about coronavirus. But we have lots of other needs that we need this dua also for. Another dua which is for times of difficulties, dua 54, which, as I told you, I had reflections on it on this dua in Manchester. That is also available. Before I start, I would like to mention something that is our general approach to du'as in the time of difficulties. This life can never be free from difficulties. And we already talked about this in previous courses. This is the nature of this world. And actually, this is needed for our progress. What is important is what types of sufferings we have, and who is responsible for our suffering. So you cannot say, I don't want any suffering at all. If you don't want any suffering, it means that you have not understood the purpose of this life, and you don't want to actually remain in this life. There must be some kind of difficulty, suffering, but am I causing this suffering to myself and other people? Number 2 is what areas I am suffering in. Am I suffering in my relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in my iman, in my akhlaq, in being a good person, being a moral person, being a caring, father or mother or husband or wife or neighbor or colleague? Am I suffering in these areas, or I am suffering in some worldly matters, not in some moral, spiritual, religious matters? Is my musibah in my deen, or my musibah is my dunya? Is my musibah is my money and body, or my musibah is my heart and mind? Do I suffer from confusion and misunderstanding and doubts, or I am suffering from, for example, some issues in my health or in my poverty or job, whatever? So who is causing this, and what areas I am suffering in? These are two things that make people different. Otherwise, more or less, everyone suffers. I am sure many times you think, especially those who are younger, that it seems there are people who never suffer. When I look at them, everything is perfect. But this is the way you think. If you go enter into lives of people, you see everyone has his own problems. And sometimes they don't understand, sometimes they understand, but they don't share with other people. There is no need to share with everyone our problems. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says, رَضِيَ بِالظُّلِّ مَنْ كَشَفَ عَنْ ذُرِّهِ. If you mention all your problems to people, then it means that you are happy to be losing your honor. Because it's not that everyone is a good mu'min to keep his or her opinion exactly before talking to them about your problems. Some of people, whether they like it or not, they change their attitude when you share with them your problems. Some are unfortunately like that. So you don't need to say everything to everyone. So everyone has some problems. One person who was very spiritual in Tehran, and many people considered him as a kind of arif. He was a student of Ayatollah Ansari Hamadani, although he had not studied that much. He used to say that if we ask people to bring all their problems and put it in a very large, place, like a big plane, and we ask people to bring your problems and leave it there, so that everyone can see what problems people have and they are all together. And then we will tell them, now we give you choice to choose. You can choose your own problem or problem of any other person. He says everyone, if sees the problems of other people and has understanding of his own or her own capacity, would say, my problems are the best problems for me. I cannot deal with the problems of other people. So, there are issues. We cannot have no problem at all. But the best is if we don't find ourselves responsible after objective, careful examination, not after just quick, dismissal of my responsibility, but after careful and objective, I find, alhamdulillah, I have not caused this. This is the best thing. Later, then we can work on how to benefit. So problems are there. We should never be despaired. Mu'min would never despair. And actually, our teachings is that when the situation is very, very difficult, and every person may get despaired if they are not believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mu'min in that time has more hope. So when people without faith become very despaired, mu'min finds that's the best way to hope, the best time to hope. Because this is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works, that He would not interfere and intervene for every small problem. He wants us to be responsible, He wants us to solve our problems. But when it reaches the point of being desperate, when it reaches the point of istirar, then He would intervene. Therefore, in some hadith says, Kun lima la tarju arja minka mimma tarju. When you have no hope, be more hopeful compared to the time that you have hope. And the example is the example in the hadith, example of Prophet Musa, ala nabiyina wa alayhi wa sallam. When he was traveling in dark night with his family, it was dark, it was cold, his concern was safety of family. Then what happened? The best experience in his life happened, and that was he saw the fire, he went to take some fire, but Allah talked to him. That was the first time that Allah talked to Musa alayhi salam. He had no hope for such a thing. For him, just survival was enough. But that, or the Queen of Saba, when she went to Sulaiman, she just went to save herself and her nation. But then she was able to embrace faith and become believer. So we have to be very hopeful, especially in difficult times. I told you, I think once, that when it comes to also doing tawassul to Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, I believe that generally speaking, we should not expect Imam alayhi salam to interfere in every matter and say, okay, you are my Shia, I should help you. You are my community, I should help you. Because in this way we become very dependent and maybe lazy, and also then other people would not be finding this, a right way of being, tested. So Imam alayhi salam has his role in the time of ghaibah, which is to guide but without being noticed, to help without people being able to point at him that he did this. So for most part, maybe 99%, he does things without anyone understanding he's doing this. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does everything, but millions of people will say there is no God. Who is doing all this? Because he keeps a hijab, he keeps a veil. He doesn't want to impose himself to our understanding so that no one can deny him. So Imam Mahdi is like this in the time of ghaibah. But there is a way. This is a secret. There is a way to bring Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif to your personal or community or humanity in general life. Between Imam in the condition of ghaibah and this public life that we have, there is a kind of passage, there is a kind of corridor through which Imam can interfere in our public, in our worldly life or spiritual life in the time of ghaibah. And that is emergency entrance. We have emergency exit, but we have for Imam Mahdi emergency entrance. He can enter through this emergency entrance to this life that we have and help us. But it must be emergency. You have to be mustar. When you are mustar and desperately ask him for help, he would come and help. Some people are very clever. They quickly realize that they are desperate. So they get all the time help from Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. Some people have to see a tragedy that kills millions of people, then they feel desperate. Otherwise they think, we can manage. This is one of the worst problems for mu'mineen, if they think they can manage. You cannot manage anything. You cannot even guarantee that next day you are going to wake up. We are so vulnerable, so weak, so dependent. What can you manage? You cannot even say, I am going tonight home. Who knows? So we have to increase our understanding of our need for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our need for Hujjah of Allah, and being in desperate situation. Unfortunately, most of the time, we think everything is all right, we don't need Imam. We will be happy if he helps us, but we don't need, we can manage ourselves. Alhamdulillah, we have community, we have people, we have money, we have guidance, but this is not the right kind.